government has really done.
Yeah,
I
just
have
make
not
it
got into a
holistic.
lot of details, but I'm talking of Denmark's energy transition from the perspective of leadership in the Nordic region itself. Uh, so the salient
You have
features
to
of,
start your camera as well if possible.
okay, sure. Just give me a minute, sir. Sure.
Yeah, go ahead now.
So I'll just move, sir. So Denmark has emerged as the pioneer in global energy transition, especially in the Nordic regions and globally as well. Its journey began early in the 1970s, which was much earlier than when the world really had begun moving towards the energy transition piece. Today, Denmark is primarily known for having one of the highest shares in wind energy, which is around 55%. Why? Because it has embraced decentralized and citizen-driven energy products, which are small solar communities that they've set up at the community level or wind cooperatives which have been set up. Uh, Strong public-private partnerships, which also encourage innovation at the very local level, is also encouraged. And it is also a leader in green technology exports, primarily wind turbine technology. The strategic targets that the government has set are very ambitious and they are legally binding. One is that the government aims to achieve climate neutrality by 2050, 70% reduction in GHG by 2030. They want to convert the country into 100% renewable electricity by 2030. It also aims to phase out oil and gas and invest in green fuels like hydrogen and power to X technology, which really reflects the vision and the political commitment of the Denmark government. The major initiatives it has taken is the Energy Island project, which is primarily the offshore wind hubs which have been established in the Baltic and the North Sea. There are two energy islands which have been established. However, due to various, it was supposed to be commissioned in 2030, but it has been delayed and now goes on to 2036. The Power to X strategy, which aims at turning the green electricity into fuels like hydrogen, which is very crucial for decarbonization of industries. The Danish Climate Act, which mandate that there have to be regular updates on climate action and tracking progress. The district heating expansion is also a big initiative that the government has undertaken, where there is a centralized heating which is provided, which is done, and then it is supplied to the households, which has been scaled massively and reduced and led to reduction in fossil fuel-based heating. There is also green tax reform and carbon pricing, which has incentivized the clean energy. If we look at the electricity mix over the time, it shows the shift for Denmark from a coal-based economy to more on relying more on renewables. It emphasizes the rises of wind energy and gradual reduction of coal dependency. It also clearly shows what is possible when there is government willingness and consistent policy from when the government changes from one to another. Uh, Moving to the next slide, the wind energy is clearly growing and currently, as I said, it stands at about 55%. Similarly, coal is reducing and other energy like solar and bioenergy are increasingly showing in larger numbers. If we talk of the success drivers here, primarily, as I mentioned, that there has been consistency across different governments who've come to power. There is political consensus and long-term political stability, the policy stability on the climate front. There is strong citizen involvement, as I mentioned. There are co-owned solar farms, wind farms, maybe even at a very micro scale, which add up becoming very big for the country itself. There is a culture of green innovation and technology innovation and largely focused on exports. If you look at the economy of the Nordic countries, especially Denmark and Norway, there is heavy uh, focus on green innovation. And some of the biggest companies that you see in the world come from this particular region itself. There is also transparent data-driven policy when undertaking any climate decisions or actions. There is strong role of municipalities and climate governance, which basically decentralizes the entire climate action and makes sure that implementation is happening right to the bottom. Um, There are certain challenges also that the government is facing, which is primarily the grid modernization, uh, to integrate it more with renewable energy. There is there are challenges with regard to decarbonizing the heavy industries and the transportation industry. There is some public resistance to new infrastructure, especially when onshore wind farms are set up. That has to be taken care of. And of course, with any of these um, decarbonization initiatives that come, there has to be a biodiversity trade-off as well, for land use for renewable energy. The future, the government is eyeing the green hydrogen hub, which can become the hydrogen hub for Europe. There is exporting the energy island model to other countries as well. There is push for electrification of heating and transport sector. There is also a need that the government is pushing for a deeper integration with Nordic and other EU markets. And they also want to take a lead in the global climate diplomacy. As compared to other countries in the Nordic region, we see that Denmark stands out for its wind leadership. Sweden focuses primarily on hydro and biomass. Norway focuses on hydro and is also a major oil exporter. Finland focuses on biomass and nuclear mix. So Denmark overall, if we see, is more export oriented, focuses on innovation, and is very wind centric. So with this, I come to the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Very good. Short, sharp, and crisp. Good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka. I think it's justified one day delaying it. It make more sense now. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Now let's go to somebody else. Who else was pending? Who else was supposed to be doing a presentation today? Chalo, koi nahi. If you don't want to do it, it's fine. I don't want to force